survival. Every death will cost you, Guardian. Fight smart. Three lives left. One minute. You're out of lives. Fight on just the same. Neither team has lives left. Show no mercy. 30 seconds. Both teams out of reserves. End this. Ten seconds. You've smashed your enemies to dust. Round start. You're in the lead. Three lives left. No more lives on your side. One minute. Lives left for anyone. Rest when you're dead. You're knocked out. Tiebreaker active. The end is coming. Fight! Your opponent's got the better of you. You're evenly matched, but one team must fall. 1 minute. You're neck and neck on reserves. Your team's out of lives. 30 seconds remaining. You're knocked out. Your enemies have bested you. This time. The enemy leads. Catch up and crush them. Left. Your team's out of lives. Only 1 minute left. No lives left on either side. I'm on the edge of my seat. 30 seconds. Both teams out of reserves. End this. You obliterated the enemy. You're evenly matched, but one team must fall. One minute. You're neck and neck on reserves. Enemy team is out of lives. Topple them. 30 seconds. Slay your enemy and they stay dead. No lives left on either side. I'm on the edge of my seat. You're knocked out. seconds. Lightbreaker active.
I'm not really doing good at all. I don't really like to play too hard against a fucking 2v3. Let me create a party. That's why I haven't even used my super. Alright, I'm back to my game mode. Let's go. Oh, sure. I hit this nigga and he melee me to get a kid. Oh, yeah, sure. I'm not that stupid to run that way while they all the way up in there. I hit this nigga, but it did not work. Whatever. I'm gonna change my damn what's it called anyway though. He got sniped. He got the recluse. Not the recluse, the fucking highlight. I'm back now with the regular game mode. Wait, what? Whatever. Sure. Oh shit. fucking. Wow. I do want to play trials, but I ain't got no team. Yeah, whatever. I got 3 points. Fuck, is you serious? Okay. Okay. We don't need that. Did not want that game. Why do I got both earphones in my ear? Yeah. Wow, I really can't even type either. I can't play the game, right? And I can't type. Yay! He got the beloved, I bet you, the motherfucker with the damn. Hate this damn map though, to be honest with you. Man, y'all was nowhere near to be there to help out. Seriously? I need to use my tether. Wow, we didn't even kill one of them. Whatever. Okay. Who was texting me? They chasing my ass. Get the fuck out. Oh, I gotta get used to it playing again. Okay, let me hop online. See if anybody want to play with me afterwards. Don't know, but it's worth it. You got jump. I'm not actually playing like I usually play. I'm thinking of Dragon Ball Z right now. Sure, he got the shotgun off. Hell no. Sure. Sure. I only got one kill. I need to start playing. I need to start playing. I only got one kill. This shit is not funny. Oh my god. What? This nigga lagging hard as fuck. He wasn't even taking no damage. These niggas ain't taking no damage. Is you serious? Sure. Fucking cheaters, bro. Nigga was lagging. Like, come on. Like, when the fuck? Oh, godly. Fucking dashing in with all the fucking cheaters, bro. Now I'm back to Fable. I'm just trying to get the legend so I can get my damn Not Forgotten. What the fuck? Is it that fucking hard to get? Okay, let's try this way, and let's try this, and let's try. Yep, that's good. Okay, now let's see. What about you? I don't need you. Don't need you. And don't need you. And oh shit. I should have went to fucking regular Crucible before I went to cop. Damn. I can't believe I suck at the game right now. That's horrible. It's horrible as shit. I suck at the game right now. What's this? Hunter, hunter, hunter. Can't you see? Oh. Survival of the fittest. This fucking map. He got sniped. And you think running that way where a bunch of snipers is at is a good idea? Shit. Shit. They just camping in the back. Alright, fuck it. I'm gonna play with a sniper. Seriously, the ammo. Last word, kind of figured. Oh, sure. Yeah, sure. I'm doing fucking horrible. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm doing horrible also. Sure. Fucking last word. Sure. Wasn't even nobody up there. Is you fucking serious? Oh my god. Wasn't even nobody fucking up there. Sure. Sure. Am I really doing this fucking horrible? Like, seriously. Should've played another game since I was getting drunk. Yeah, I did say that. Yeah, okay. What can I watch while I play the game? Yeah, up your arsenal. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I know that. Are you fucking serious? Sure. Oh my god. I got 5 kills. Yeah, I did good. Ain't nobody there. Sure. You're not getting me again with that damn hand cannon, bitch. You teabag my nigga. Don't do that. Sure. I need to stop drinking when I'm playing the game. That nigga weak, bruh. Y'all want nowhere near to be. Oh, y'all some fucky ass fuckers. I wasn't gonna use my super. Later, 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 pants on fire. Shit, finally won a game. Damn, took long enough. Fuck. See, whatever Jew became immortal. I already seen that.
This game is Ark Knights. Offense games, I absolutely love it. Two big homeless guys waiting for us. Whoa! She dead. But we did it in the end. You know, that got really scary really quickly. First 10 rolls guarantees a 6-star operator? Well, why do you say so? 10. Yes, confirm. We'll keep on going, please. Here's a 6-star. Yo! We got...
Greetings, Guardians. My name is Glyph here. Warlocks, Titans, we've got a great story for you both today.
See if I can get into this bitch panties. Word on the murder.
Big heroic stuff here for you today. Today's story is a throwback, and it's something old, something noble, something dark. We're going back to the Dark Ages today, and we're going to be talking about the early tales of two very famous characters. The Iron Lord Felwinter, and the Warlord better known now to us as Lord
The fuck these
Shaxx.
faggots keep looking on my damn
This
profile
is an
for?
amazing bit of writing that we got courtesy of the guys and gals at Bungie. But what's even more incredible is that these two legendary figures are sort of iconic for both of their respective classes.
Oh, jeez.
If you're looking for famous titans, think of Lord Shaxx, Saint Wei Ning, and Yolda. Meanwhile, if you're thinking of famous warlocks, you think of Toland, Osiris, Ikora, and Felwinter. In fact,
I ain't never heard of Felwinter.
Lords, and in particular their warlocks, then I bet that Felwinter is the name that you'd think of first, unless you're a hipster like me and you love Scory. Anyway, before we get this going, I think we should really start at the beginning and explain what the Dark Ages were just a little bit, because people will be missing that context, and there's also a little bit of context that is very specific to this story. Back in the Dark Age, after the collapse, there were really three groups of people that represented humanity. And I'm gonna say humanity because that does also include the Exos and, to an extent, the Awoken, but we're not really going to say anything other than this is humanity. It's been split up in its core with regards to its fighting forces.
When it come down
First of
to
these three groups that you're going to be looking at were the people of the city and the Guardians, people who defended the others, who
like
were
I said.
able to defend themselves, and those who had gathered below the Traveler. Then there was the second group, the group that they were allied with, the Iron Lords. These were a group of light-bearers, or, well, later they would be known as Guardians, but light-bearers for the time being is the phrase we use, and they rallied to protect the city, but moreover than that, they looked to control the rest of the world. They looked to end oppression against them in this post-
That nigga did not take no damage.
Their principal human opponents were a third group, namely the Warlords. Now, the Warlords, unlike the Iron Lords, don't seem to have some kind of implication as being a big allied force. It's not as though the Warlords were any unified militia. However, there is an implication that the term
Sure.
is just a more generalist one that refers to rogue light-bearers that staked a claim of territory out in the wilds. Sometimes the Warlords would ally with each other, and sometimes they would fight amongst themselves. Their rule, however, was something that the Iron Lords directly stood against. And with this, there is an interesting note that needs to be struck with the Iron Lords because they have an Iron Decree at their side. What was the Iron Decree? Well, it was kind of a series of rules and permissions and codes of conduct by which the Iron Lords would operate. After we've done our big reading for today, we're actually going to go into this a bit more. But it's at this moment, with the Iron Lords fighting and the Warlords fighting back, that Felwinter really comes into the picture. Namely, he comes into the picture because of an infamous weapon and because of the way in which that weapon earned its name. The weapon I'm talking about is, of course, Felwinter's Lie. If you think Mindbender's Ambition or Astral Horizon today is bad, you clearly never experienced the terror that was Felwinter's Lie with Shot Package or Rangefinder. Those things were utterly ridiculous, and yeah, shotguns no longer roll with those things. Very
Sure.
much because of this shotgun, it defined the early Crucible style of shotgunning. All that Destiny 1 Crucible stuff aside, there's a constant debate as to what Felwinter's Lie really was, because the weapons of the Iron Banner commonly tended to refer to
Oh
the
my
actual
God.
of the person they were named after. Now, with all of that said, the suspected Lie has been a lot of things throughout Destiny's history, but this latest lore entry might now give us a bit of context where we were previously missing it, and it might explain that the Lie is a more general thing. So, with all of that, we're going to leave everything else on the table and we're going to get to our very long reading here, which of course recounts this tale of Lord Shaxx and Felwinter and their first real battle, the battle that effectively ended Shaxx's term as a warlord but which, by the same token, Shaxx most definitely did not lose. So, with all that said, let's read. Sometime during the late Dark Age, Iron Lords Ephrodite, Saladin, and Felwinter sat in a warlock meditation chamber around a massive oak table in a keep on Felwinter Peak. A fire crackled in the corner out of the lips of a stone-lined hearth. A handwritten letter in messy scrawl rested atop the table. Warlord Shaxx accepts my challenge, Felwinter said, summarizing its contents. He advises us to enter from the south wall, which has been destroyed. The front door, he picked up the paper and scrutinized it again, is undergoing weatherproof. This is your plan? Ephrodite said with some skepticism. How did he get this to you? His ghost brought it. Your plan is ill-advised, Saladin said, and a waste of time. No one's beat Shaxx in a fight, Iron Lords or Warlords, Ephrodite continued, much less take territory from them. Ikora has, and I believe I can, Felwinter replied, his eyes burning inside his
Oh, Jesus.
AFK Arena's top 3 supports.
Oh,
Number
Jesus,
3,
for
Roamer the
real.
Roamer. He heals his friends and gives them lots of energy, so they can use their skills more often. Number 2, Rox. Death to see. He locks an enemy in his coffin, granting you superior numbers. Number 1, Rosaline, the kind. She follows an ally, speeding up their
Yeah, whatever. I don't care no more.
attack boost. Pairing her with a high damage hero can be devastating. If you get any of these heroes, take the time to level them up and the results will be highly optimal.
AFK Arena, play now for free.
Sure.
Exo Skull. Ephrodite tapped the table with her fingers, and Saladin stared into the polished surface. Unless either of you two has a better idea, we're running out of time. Saladin shook his head. It's true. Radagast wants to launch a frontal assault. Entire Lord fire teams. Ephrodite's eyes narrowed under her helm. He wouldn't. There's almost 100 people in that castle. Shaxx is holding those people hostage. They stay with him willingly, Felwinter replied. The warlords might pull the trigger, but Radagast wouldn't, Ephrodite repeated. Have you seen Radagast lately? He's tired of the wars. No one's been at it longer. That's no excuse. We came under him to end the infighting. Felwinter stood. Then let me do my part for the cause. The sky was completely white, and there was a stark chill to the air as the trio entered the castle from a gaping fissure in the ruined south wall. As they stepped into the exposed hallway, the Iron Lords passed a few of Shaxx's people, who hurried away from them. One child cried in her mother's arms. They looked tired, but they weren't starving, and they were clothed for the oncoming inclement weather. The Iron Lords found Shaxx as they turned a corner, and the hallway opened up into the massive entrance of the keep. He was cautiously applying a fast-drying liquid polymer as a draft stopper underneath a set of ancient plasteel doors. Wouldn't that hold a little too well? Felwinter asked as he strode up with the Iron Lords. Shaxx didn't stand or look at them. I'll dissolve it when the storm is through, he said, liberally squeezing the paste with both hands from a gel tube. A brute force solution. I hear that's how you fight. I do what works with the tools I have, Shaxx said, standing to inspect his weatherproofing. We'll freeze without this. The ghostless would suffer. That's something you care about? Felwinter took a step forward. Shax turned to address the XO. These people are under my protection. I owe them. Something the Iron Lords should ponder more often about those they protect. The Iron Decree was drafted to protect the ghostless, Felwinter replied. Give up your territory and join us. Let us show you how powerful your light can become. Strong words. I'll wager you said the same thing to Citan before you killed him and his ghost. Saladin looked to Ephrodite in shock. She pretended she didn't notice, and kept her hand near her cannon. Your decree disallows final deaths of your opponents, Shax continued. Yet you've killed countless warlords, and an Iron Lord if the rumors are true. Felwinter's eyes quietly blazed. He took a step closer. Were they friends of yours? I don't have friends, just people I protect. We could use your help, Fel.
You have reached the voicemail box of...
Winter replied. You already have a Saint 14. Saint serves the Speaker, not the Iron Lords. He thinks highly of you. Perhaps... Perhaps I'm not being clear. I'm not going anywhere, and you lot aren't coming in. As long as I hold this territory, there will be no collateral damage from turf wars inside our borders. Iron Lords and Warlords be damned.
Missed it.
Damned. Your self-wall says otherwise. And you're starting to piss me off. Are you here to duel or whine? Felwinter guessed that Shax now stood a little more than 3 feet from him. The Iron Lord stepped forward, dragged a solar sword from the air and thrust it at Shax. The Warlord turned his stance sideways as the burning blade sang past his helm, ducked the horizontal cut that followed, and stepped back as Felwinter drove the blade into the stone floor. The chamber erupted with ethereal fire and solar light. Shax's back fist took Felwinter's head from his shoulders in a shower of sparks. The Iron Lord's light died with his crumpling form. Ephrodite coughed as Saladin blinked inside his helm. Felwinter's ghost unfolded above his prone corpse, and the Iron Lord re-emerged from a pillar of cascading light. You should have used your void instead, Shax said. You could have brought the whole fort down on...
This nigga waving right there. Is you serious?
The Iron Lord shook his head. Your people wouldn't have survived that. Shax's hands engulfed Felwinter's shoulders like descending moons. I would have stopped you, but I like your thinking. Now get out. The Warlord left the chamber without looking back, towards the direction of the south wall. I need more time, Felwinter said, before Saladin or Ephrodite could utter a word. Saladin shook his head. Radagast already assigned us to strikes against the House of Devils. There's an uprising in the Cosmodrome. This was our shot to deal with Shax, and we failed. One Lord makes no real difference on a strike against the Fallen. Buy me time and I'll solve this. We don't have time. You said it yourself, the Warlords will attack this fortress en masse. Not if I challenge again. He literally took your head off, Saladin replied. Ephrodite
Sure.
on her helmeted chin. We can buy time. Warlords in this region respect a prolonged challenge against Shax. Her eyes flickered to Felwinter beneath the helmet. Shax has multiple confirmed kills, final deaths. It's no small thing to challenge him. Most of those cowards won't, and they'll gladly let you try again, till Shax decides to go after your ghost. Fellwinter stared at the weatherproofed plasteel doorway of the chamber. I have a feeling that won't be a concern, he replied. Besides, these people will never repair the south wall alone. The oncoming storm will be their end. I'll help them. Change of plan, then, Saladin said. You'll buy time for us. What? Said the Exo. Keep Shax busy until we finish this business with the Fallen. Then we're coming for this castle. Ephrodite, if I could have a word, Saladin asked, his cloak flowing around him as he departed in the same direction as Shax, leaving Fellwinter alone in the chamber. Ephrodite snorted. You didn't know, she exclaimed over the wind as she and Saladin descended the mountain on a gravelly, snow-covered road. That Fellwinter is an oathbreaker? Saladin shook his head. No. You've never wondered why Radagast hates his guts, she said. That takes a lot. Agreed. Why has he abided this? Every one of Fellwinter's confirmed kills broke the Iron Decree. He provided ample evidence. Ghost killers, murderers, and worse. All of them. But he never asks for permission. Fellwinter is no Saint 14. Why does he do it? He calls it operational necessity. Saladin scoffed. I've never heard an Exo talk like that. Like what? They're usually more expressive. Does this change the plan? Saladin looked up at a trio of circling carrion birds as they walked. There is no plan. We'll quell this devil uprising, then strategize a frontal assault with the full force of the Iron Lords behind it. Hopefully Fellwinter keeps Shax busy until then. Ephrodite shook her head. People will die. If the Warlords attack him first, it'll be catastrophic. Shax forced our hand. Shax and Fellwinter watched Ephrodite and Saladin descend the snow-covered mesa from the shattered south wall. I thought I told you to get out. Shax broke the silence. I mean to challenge you again, Fellwinter replied. Not today. Shax shook his head. My ghost believes it'll snow before nightfall. Yes, Fellwinter said. What did this? Fallen Walker. No amount of Golden Age polymer can repair this wall before that storm rolls in. No, Shax agreed. My light will be the wall. A ward of dawn? Your people will freeze. A well of radiance is what you need. My light will be the wall. You think my hammer of Sol wouldn't burn bright enough to last the storm? Of course it would. And you'd set this castle ablaze. Leave it to me. I leave my people to no one. But if you're seeking shelter, you're free to stay. You call them your people. You rule them like a king. I protect them. Some kings don't know the difference. A light dusting of snow started to fall. Does your mountain have a name? The Iron Lord asked the Warlord. No. I call mine Fellwinter Peak. Do I look like I care? For days, the storm had kept anyone from traversing the mountain path. Between Fellwinter and Shax, the people of the castle were safe from the elements. Saladin and Ephrodite had sent word the Fallen campaign would last at least another few weeks, so Fellwinter challenged again. Shax accepted. Iron Lord met Warlord at the backfield beyond the shattered south wall. Fellwinter aimed a palm strike at Shax's center mass. The Warlord slipped sideways, narrowly avoiding the burst of void light that blossomed forth, and cracked a back fist into Fellwinter's skull, sending him spiraling backwards. Fellwinter struggled to a knee, then to his feet, his long coat flowing around him. A fissure of sparks sprayed from his skull. How many Warlords have you challenged? He asked. I lost count a century ago, Shax replied. He stayed in his sideways stance, waiting for the Exo to make a move. I will never stop, never rest, Fellwinter said. And the Warlords are just like me. They refuse to end each other, not because of a code or an Iron Decree, because they're afraid to die, and they will plague this world forever. Felwinter raised his arms in a striking position. How many of us will you fight? As many as I need to. Shax closed the distance, slipping past the Exo's guard, and snapped the back of his fist into Felwinter's temple, which promptly shattered. The skies were clear, so Felwinter challenged again the day after. Shax accepted. They met on the backfield. How long will your people last out here? Felwinter asked. Longer than you, Shax replied. It was true. A flying knee separated the Iron Lord from his head within seconds of a short melee. When the Exo's ghost put him back together, Shax was already halfway back to the south wall. How long do you expect them to stay here? Felwinter called after him. The warlord turned back. What are you talking about? He asked. How long do you expect your people to stay? They will not survive the winter. I'll find a way. You have a way. If you won't join the Iron Lords, let us help you. Your wars have left my people homeless, and worse, they would never trust you. If you asked them to, perhaps they would. You're the king. I am no king. Prove it. I have nothing to prove to you. Prove it to them. Weeks later, Ephrodite and Saladin brought a silver army with them, gleaming weapons in their hands. 9 Iron Lords dismounted their machines at the foot of Shax's mountain. 12 warlords armored in eclectic styles from across the region opposed them at the path that led up the mountain peak. Particle weapons hummed to operational life on both sides, slug rifles racked and readied. Felwinter and Shax watched them from the ruined south wall. Your friends are here to back you up, the Exo said, if they need to. I don't have friends, Shax replied, and they don't need to. Tell them. Stop this before the shooting starts, the Exo said. Your people will not survive this. Is that a threat? The warlord asked. No, they're not like us. Everything they might become dies with them. Shax stared down at the Iron Lords. Your people involve yourselves in matters that are not your own, especially Radagast. Radagast is scattered. He thinks he has the weight of all those we protect on his shoulders. No one has that kind of strength. Not even a Lightbearer. Why do you back them? Because the Iron Lords are going to change the world. No one can stop them. I stopped you. Your people will not survive this. Tell the warlords to stand down. They'll listen. They fear you. You're not bound to an iron decree. Shax shook his head. They fear that everything they might become would die with them. The other warlords had departed. Shax stood with the Iron Lords on the path up the mountain. He stared down at them. Who won? Ephrodite asked. Shax, Felwinter said. He patted Shax on the shoulder. Shax did. The Exo pulled Ephrodite aside to arrange an evacuation plan for Shax's people to Vostok Observatory in the Cosmodrome. Saladin and Shax stood in silence as the other lords began their march up the path. Hello, said Saladin. Hello, Shax said. They shook hands. Iron Lord Shax? No.
Sure.
Felwinter, Saladin, and Ephrodite sat at a massive oak table on a keep atop Felwinter Peak. A holographic blueprint of Shax's castle hung in the air. It will take some time to breach the security codes, the Exo said, indicating an underground extension a mile under the fort. But this is it.
Round start. You're in the lead.
Well, but yeah, that's what I get for not paying attention.
A Seraph bunker. Rasputin tech. So where do we begin with all of this? Well, I guess we really need to start with Felwinter's lie. It appears that Felwinter gives us a really fascinating look into the Iron Lords and their culture, and not just the culture that they present to us through their own stories, but also how they're perceived. Because it seems universal that almost anyone who makes war, even for a righteous cause, does get seen in some negative light. Shax's people have been displaced because of the wars between the Iron Lords and the Warlords, and Lord Shax just so happened to offer them refuge. It's a pretty incredible story if you think about it, because realistically I feel like that's how we would look upon characters such as Radagast and Felwinter. We'd also previously heard about the idea that the Iron Lords had a code of conduct, but now we see that expanded on so much more. The Iron Decree, as it's called, appears to have been a manifesto or a series of laws published by the Iron Lords, by which they were able to operate. It appears that this decree was designed to defend the common people, but it also disallows the final deaths of Guardians. The thing is that Felwinter has clearly broken the Iron Decree, and we know this not just because of Lord Shax saying so, but because we have records of him breaking that from Destiny 1 and the Grimoire. Lord Shax references that multiple warlords suffered their final deaths at the hands of Felwinter, but the most notable of these was undoubtedly Citan, who is remembered in the new Titan exotic, Citan's Ramparts, from this season. However, his actual story is better remembered through the Grimoire card for Felwinter from Rise of Iron, as well as the A Man with No Name lore book,
Sure.
Season of the Drifter. I want to cover that in a separate video talking about Citan's story in its entirety, because Citan is one of those rather interesting characters that gives us a better insight into Felwinter. The Iron Lord that was killed by Felwinter is also, I think, known to us. I believe their name is Segoth, and this relates back to an old Warlock artifact that you could get back in Destiny 1. And for a little context, you need to simply see this artifact here. It is clearly an Iron Lord Titan helmet, and the text comes from Gelion on the flavor text of this artifact, stating, "Thought we formed the banner to fight the darkness, not ourselves. Just don't bode well, that's all I'm saying." Considering that this is a Warlock artifact, and consider that this is clearly indicating infighting within the Iron Lords, this points to the possibility that Segoth was indeed the one killed by Felwinter. And if that's the case, I think it's very possible that Segoth broke the Iron Decree. However, if that's the case, and if that most certainly is something that we could prove in the future, it appears that there is one consistent note to Felwinter's character here, which is that all of the final deaths that he imparted did at least have some kind of justification. Even if he is an Oathbreaker, he is an Oathbreaker who takes these measures to dismantle other Oathbreakers. Felwinter sees this as necessary, but he certainly doesn't take these actions lightly. When attacking Lord Shax, he uses a certain amount of restraint to prevent civilian casualties, even though it means his inevitable death. Even when he's facing Lord Shax out in the backfield, he definitely does leave room for Shax to win every time, and this is clearly so that he can continue to challenge them again, thus meaning that others will not come attacking the keep. This is purely to keep the warlords at bay and buy time. Felwinter is clearly a warlock who cuts closer to the cloth of a Machiavellian type, but that's not to say he's a man without honor. This all leads us back to the idea that Felwinter's lie is actually a much broader thing than a specified single event. It appears perhaps that the lie that was stated might well just simply be that he swore to uphold the Iron Decree, and that from time to time he would break the Iron Decree when others had broken it before him. Of course, it's very hard to know what Felwinter's lie truly was, but something we can definitely see here is a great story about Lord Shax, his morality, Felwinter, and how the two characters intersect. I think this is also one of those moments where we get to look a little bit closer at Shax's warlord past in a really fascinating way. There's lots of indications that warlords were amoral or indifferent to the suffering of others, and Lord Shax shows us once again that the world is not simply black and white, and that there are indeed many shades of grey to this particular conflict. Shax, as a warlord, is only expanded on in a few other bits and pieces here and there, I think it's the Arbalista lore tab where we get to see the first reference to him being a warlord, where the text refers to him indirectly as a warlord. It's really cool and it's a solid piece of lore, but I'd say this story that we just got of an Iron Lord and a warlord facing off against each other day after day to ensure that a group of people could be kept safe is even better. As a quick note and an aside to the developers at Bungie, if you're going to go ahead and expand on stories like this, in the side stuff of the lore and everything, this is fantastic. This is really good. As stuff that is totally separate from the main narrative of the season, I love this stuff. So go ahead and keep doing more things like this. When it comes to the main stuff of the season, I'm excited to see where that goes, but by that same token, side moments like this really allow you guys to flex your writing muscle, and it's really clear from this. It's a really solid story. You'll also notice that I didn't actually read the full version of that particular copy of the transcript, and there's a reason for that. The reason being is because we're going to cover Felwinter and Citan in a few more videos throughout the season. So, the next video that we're going to do is going to be talking about Citan in particular, and it's going to be another examination of both his character, the Dark Age, the fight between the Warlords and the Iron Lords, and of course it's going to be a chance to look further into Felwinter himself. And further on from that, I think there are more things that we can talk about, especially when it comes to Felwinter and the Seraph bunkers. But that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and if you did enjoy the video, please go ahead and leave a like. Let me know what you think of Felwinter, his fight against Lord Shaxx, and the storytelling here in general down below in the comments section. And on top of that, if you want more Destiny lore content, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell next to subscribe to turn on those email notifications. But as per usual, know that your viewership is quite enough for me. And in the meantime, my name is Byf. Perodacia ad Astra. I'll see you, Starside.
Oh shit, seriously?
Greetings, Guardians. My name is Byf here. What you're about...
Yo, what's up guys? It's Crosserot here. And I'm going to tell you how to level up to level 250 in less than 2 days. Yep, you heard me, in less than 2 days. I got to level 250 from level 130, I think it was, when I found out this method. And that method is Training Run. Yes, for once, training actually does something, and it makes sense. You train more, you get stronger. So, I will go into detail later, but basically what you do is level 7 above. So all these give you an insane amount of XP. Level 6 and below don't give much. They give like 50% less or 60% less XP. What you do is basically that. You do training, you get to level 10, 9. I recommend 9 because, as it says in the title, the way to get Zenny is Ultra Helays.
Fucking serious.
For an insane amount, and you can get so many of these by just farming. And if you do not want to get Zenny, if you don't want to level up, then I'm sorry, but there's no other way that I know to get an insane amount of Zenny really quickly other than doing this method, which means you cannot level up, you cannot get Zenny without leveling up at the same time. So if you want to have like 10 million Zenny like I do right now, if I go here, I have 13 million Zenny. And that's because I had at some point 1,000 of these Ultra Helays because I was spamming Booze 1 for at least 5 hours. So that means I was just getting 2 Ultra Helays every 10-15 seconds. by 10-15 seconds, I mean yes, you can actually clear this in 10 to 15 seconds once you're level 120-ish. If you're level, let's say 80 or between 70 and 90, I would recommend doing these two. These are basically the same. They all give the same amount of XP, but yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, that could be the end of the video, but I'm going to go into a bit of detail about the optimal way to get this XP. So obviously community, I'm going to do this really quickly. You go to community training, battle XP 100%. You can copy my community boards if you want. I'll quickly go through them so you can pause and copy my community boards if you want to. I have almost everything maxed. A quick tip on this one: before you max any of the community boards out, get this one to level 100. To level 10, so you get plus machine level 30. The reason to do this is because once you level up your car and jumping machine to level 50, which is the maximum level, you can remove all the emblems in this community and the level will stay the same in your car. Which basically means once your car and jumping machine is max level, all the emblems in here become absolutely useless, since none of these stats do anything to affect your car. All they do is affect the building process and the leveling process. So once you got everything maxed out, there's absolutely no reason for you to build or level your cars anymore, since you can't. So just remove all the emblems and use them in another community. So yeah, that's all you have to know about communities. Really, the most important ones for leveling up for getting more XP is training, but maybe some of you didn't know this. Cooking is also one of the best ones to get XP. You can get up to 50% XP boosting by doing cooking. Even though it says 20%, a meal, the biggest XP boost meal she gives you is 25%, plus a 20%, I think that's like 30-something percent XP. But when you have cooking, will always be a huge success. I think that means that it doubles the percentage. So that means you'll be getting a 50% increase in XP for 20 minutes, because it says here duration 100%, which means that the meal is going to be 20 minutes long instead of 10. But there's actually a trick to this which can make the duration infinite, which I'll talk about in a second. So yeah, you do that. All the other ones are kind of irrelevant. This one gives you more key and stuff. This one is really important for the heal aids. So the most important ones are cooking, training, and this one is kind of useless because Zeorbs. I have the maximum amount of Zeorbs. Once you have this one to level 9, I would recommend when you're about to sell something, just take a screenshot of one of your communities and take all the emblems out, put it into here to get it level 9. Sell all your, not all of them, but like 95%.
Sure, it did hit this nigga. Yeah.
So you get an extra 20%. Oh, sorry, it's level 8. I thought it was level 9. Yeah, so max it out to level 8, and all your heal aids will be selling for 10,000 instead of 8,000 something. So that's an extra 2,000 gold. That means for every 5 heal aids you sell, you'll sell an extra 1. So imagine you sell 500 heal aids. That's an extra 100 heal aids that you're selling, which is kind of insane. So yeah, 100% get this to level 8, and once you're done selling, just move all the emblems back to the community that you took it out of, and yeah, that's all you have to do. So just take a screenshot of this one, for example, so that you remember where to put them before you sell any items. Put it all into here, get to level 8, sell your items, and then put it back to where the emblems were. So, that being said, I think that's everything you have to know. I think I talked about everything. I'll tell you right now the best method to kill them quickly. I personally, right now I use Vegeta because I can insta-kill them in base form. Do not use Vegeta if you cannot one-shot them in base form. The reason I'm saying base form is because if you transform, they will spread out. As in, if you transform, they will have enough time to spread out, and you will not be able to hit them all with the Big Bang attack. So I only use Vegeta since I can kill them in base form. So yeah, number 1 is Vegeta. If only you can kill them in base form with Big Bang Attack. If not, if you cannot kill them with Vegeta without being Super Saiyan, then 100% use Goku Spirit Bomb. You can easily kill Buu with a single Spirit Bomb at level 120-ish, 130, maybe even 110. I'm not sure. But yeah, you go to here, you click, use Training Party as Goku. Make sure to have party members or not to have party members, depending on what you want. If you want to have 100% to be 100% sure that you're gonna kill them in less than 5 seconds, don't get party members. If you want
And it did not shoot. Seriously.
go hunt at the same time, then get them in your party. Everyone else will also get XP, but as you can see, 224, 224, and these guys are 247, 241. The reason behind this is because when the people in your party are fighting, as in when you're fighting as a party, all these 3 members will get 100% of the XP, while all the support characters only get 75% of the XP. I don't know why this is a thing, but yeah, so whoever is fighting in the battle and wins the battle gets 100% of the XP. So let's say I get 1000 XP, all of these members will get 1000, while all the other members that are not in party will get 750. So just keep that in mind if you want to level up a specific character. If I want to level up Piccolo and Tien, and Trunks, like who wants to level up Tien, am I right? So just level up Trunks and Piccolo. In this case, I go with Goku. I go to this one. I am going to transform right now, which I'll explain in a second. And then just spam Spirit Bomb. And as you can see, one of them is spread out, so they might not die. Yeah, this is due to my teammate having targeted them. They spread out. So sometimes your teammate is going to trigger an enemy to walk to them, and you might miss a Spirit Bomb. So yeah, right now I'll just do it again quickly. I remove these 2 from my party. Boom, gone. Boom, gone. Goku, last level, yes. And they should all run at me right now. Sometimes they don't, but usually they all run at me. Yeah, there you go. Now they're going. Sometimes one of them will ki blast you while one runs at you, so the one that's ki blasting won't die, but that's like 10% of the time. 1 out of 10, every 10 games that will happen. What I was saying about wait 1 second. Special training is not worth it. This, you cannot insta-kill this quickly. I don't think I even one-shot this with Spirit Bomb, but yeah, I do one-shot it with Spirit Bomb, but yeah, just ignore these. Only do these for the either rewards or just beating it, but do not do these for leveling up. The best way in the game to level up is by doing this method. I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, about transforming. You go to characters. Once you clear level 10, you will unlock Super Saiyan instant transformation. Auto Kaioken, Auto Super Saiyan, Auto Super Saiyan 3. You can do this at level 95. You unlock this one at level 105 or 100. This one is around 110 or 15, and this one is at 120. This means that you instantly transform into Super Saiyan 3. Some of you might know this, but you do not lose ki while in this transformation. This means that when you instantly transform into Super Saiyan 3, I will show you right now. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to show you right now, but you do not lose ki while in the transformation. So I wanted to show you something first, which is really important to going way faster. Is this? This is the best set for Goku for clearing level 10. Merciless and Unbridled Power gives you an 80% damage increase on the monsters against the enemies in training. This is really bad for anything other than training, but since you recover all the HP that you lost in the battle, this is insanely good. So even if you are about to die and you clear the level, you will be 100% health for the next battle, for the next training level that you do. All the rest are kind of irrelevant, except this one. This one is really good. I just wouldn't recommend it on Vegeta. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Full tilt, maybe. I'm not sure if you start battles at 100% ki, but if you do, then 100% get full tilt. That means you're doing what, 80%, you're doing 130% plus Super Saiyan 3. that's what 150 plus 130. That's 280% damage increase just by having these things equipped. So yeah, that's actually insane. So yeah, that should be the end of the video. Things to keep in mind: only do this with Goku Super Saiyan 3 if you cannot one-shot them with Big Bang Attack in Vegeta base form. And yeah, make sure to max your training level, your cooking level in communities, and eat a meal. And before I leave, I forgot to mention, cooking timers only go down, the effects on the meals only go down when you're doing nothing. So if I'm walking around right now, the duration will go down on the effects, but if you are in battle, the duration does not go down. So right now, when I'm in this menu, I don't think I'm losing time. I'm not sure, but I am 100% not losing time right now. Right now in the menu, I am not losing meal effect duration. So it's gonna just pause, and right now it goes back to going down. So if I go to character, click on any character, it would say here meal effect 20 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever, and it will not go down as long as I'm talking to someone. I think if I'm talking to someone it doesn't go down, but I'm not 100% sure. Right now it's not going down, and when you're fighting it doesn't go down either, so keep that in mind. This means that you can have 150% increased XP for almost an infinite amount of time. I think actually infinite, unless this little section here makes you lose about a second or two of duration, but that's almost irrelevant. So yeah, I hope you learned a lot from this video, and tell me if this works, tell me if you have any questions. I will read and reply to every single question in the comments. I will guarantee you that. If I don't, then you can leave a dislike, I guess. I don't know. So if I don't reply to your questions in the comments, you can come over to my house and kill me or something, whatever. Anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, peace.
Time to push the button. Experience Dragon Ball Z battles on an epic scale as you fight across battlefields with destructible environments and boss battles that will test your power level. Be the hope of the universe. You've watched the anime. Now play it. Play it. Play it.
Licensed games have long been regarded by industry critics as half-hearted cash grabs. For every exception like Gold... Oh, it feels so good. Yeah, here she is. Yo! We got her! Hashikuma! Oh my god. Yo, Rope. Her name's Rope, and she's a bunny girl. Oh, it's Nun Girl. Yo, who likes Nun Girl?
Seriously?
I heard a jump to our right. Okay, I got bad RNG on that. Are you
one was on the right, bro. One's in middle, one's pushing. I can't see him anymore.
Well,
I am too good with this gun. It's actually scary. I mean, it's kind of your thing. Doing it?
I've got skills that don't make sense.
There it is. We're back.
Oh. No, he lined
on the body
for me, dude. No, he's entrenched. He's at the stairs.
I guess he was on the body.
Oh, there was one on the body. It wasn't him.
I got the fuck out the way, sure.
Never mind, that was Cammy. Alright, you guys did it. Oh, I missed by like a pixel. He fucked up though. Yeah, right, kid. I saw you fuck up that dash. Someone's on the door. Never mind.
He dies. No! Yes, he does. See ya.
Mine's kind of in cover, but I think they'll fight it. Oh my god, he does it. You can get mine if you want.
I'm getting her. Yeah.
Never mind. I would say, because he's there again. He might peek me. Bodied again. He got the res. Oh, you pooped.
Let's go! I got and your Maros at the same time, to be honest. Go ahead,
oh, wait,
hit on him.
2 up. What the
70.
Fuck? He's 1. You got it? One more on the head switch. Oh, that's one way to handle that. So it looks like 2.
Like I said, that's one way to handle that.
How do I apply for my sons to join G1?
Oh, dude, he's got a Fushigi emote. What the fuck?
I love that his chest piece has like the jewels in them. Alright.
What is that emote?
Flying in.
That was a Fushigi emote, dude. I gotta get that. I gotta get my hands on it. Where are they at?
Already made it in. Where they at?
Yeah.
They're in the crow's nest.
Yep, I see him. He went in, he went in. I'm not holding the door, actually. Oh, oh shit.
Truck.
He's at our truck, dude. Drew, are you playing?
I am, so I was trick shotting. Got a kill. Got a kill. Oh, I got shapped. He's got perked.
Get shapped gone, kid. Watch this shit.
I have Telesto. Fuck on the shop.
Hold on, I want a trick shot too. Hold on. Alright, that wasn't a trick shot. That was more just like jump up on the thing and shoot him, but...
Your ammo. Fushigi is
Eververse. Spike from last week.
Apparently it's from Eververse.
Yeah, that's what someone just said. Dude, that shit looks sick.
Looking at an MK14, kinda, yeah. Kinda cool to do.
What do I have? Snapshot, Vorpal weapon, hammer forged, appended mag. Or flared magwell, sorry. My magwell is quite flared, much like my...
They know I'm this broken building. Waited out, I have a trip mine.
Guess what I know?
Let's go.
I know that
Celestia's down.
Oh shit, I'm getting melted. I'm flying out, flying out. I don't know. I got you. He's down.
Your ammo. Because I knew you guys were
Chains
flying.
of Woe! That's the tree camp is playing Chains of Woe.
Oh really? You're playing Chains of Woe? Yeah, I'm playing Chains of Woe! Man.
Oh man. Show you Mercy? Fortunately, the card does have a Mercy. Looks like the right side, like Cabal side. Drew got one because he's hacking.
He's in the mainframe. He's weak on me. No perk.
Left or right, do you think?
Left. Or you're right, you're right. One's on my orb, Invis the chaperone, right behind the truck, to your right now. He died to the Telesto! Let's go! Okay, I fucked that up. I almost shot sides
They do call it the best, though. They do call it the best, though. Opening shot.
Oh, your ammo.
For me. That opening shot made like what should have been a 55 into a 68 there.
You are in the lead. Don't slow down.
I have a fucked up waking visual roll though, dude. Like, it's I hit a bot. How's that not a headshot? Man, I'm putting targeting adjuster on this shit. I want an off, not a little dick sniper. Okay, I'm gonna jump shot this. I missed it.
Absolute on the right. Oh, opening shot. You dirty dog.
Oh, you.
Chap on top.
Opening shot perk 1 or perk 2?
Chap on top.
Sides on top. I'm a top, not a bottom.
Is it 7 wins? Yeah, it is, Ghost Reaper. It's just 7 wins.
Can you imagine if I hit that shot, how cool I would have looked? Where they at, boys?
On cam.
Alright, I bodied one. I don't know how. Kobe! If I get this kill, you guys owe me $20.
Oh.
I did not get this kill.
Oh, I thought you got it. I thought you went for a no-scope. I was like, what?
No. Dude, that didn't cost that.
I was gonna lose my mind. I thought if I hit this shot, I'm like, I thought you actually hit it. I was about to lose my mind.
Like, holy shit. No, I sniped that one. I scoped that one.
I'll stick to the knives. They've been doing really good.
Okay, triple hunter team? Why am I not surprised? Ooh.
Just aim up.
Right?
Your ghost cannot help you here.
It's good range, but it's hard to tell. Radar pinging mid, then rotating.
This nigga did not melee me, but okay.
They're like in the spawn, besides one player.
Okay.
They're gonna be sitting really slow.
Got 60
He's
on
like
it.
entry.
Flower pot, tagged. I'm going around to a new angle.
I got 1-2 head. Oh, I'm being shot from somewhere else. Oh, I gotta leave. This man, that followed me. That's so stupid, dude. He's walking it, Cam. He's walking it. On my orb now. On Drew now. Drew should win this fight. Drew won. Chasing Cam in the doorway.
They're pushing.
You wanna get my orb?
He's got a rest. Yep.
I have Shoddy on.
Okay, you win this because we have Shoddy. Now you can force play my res. There it goes. Dude, I almost did it to him. I almost ran him around and then put Telesto on the floor on my way out.
TTV, YouTube, Twitter, G1, Encore, and Sides. Okay.
You are winning. Keep
What?
it up.
Okay.
I don't even fight that dude. Not with the name.
You
like
can get me in cover. You can get me in cover. Kill left.
him. Yeah, fight left here. He's bodied, single, or headshot. Alright. We double back.
Yep. Dead.
Nice. He shot me through the wall, dude.
That's okay, it happens.
Something I could've done.
Unfortunate.
He won't ever hit that again?
Yeah, my fault for using a primary.
Destroy this time.
With these sides. It's a fucking fly in front of my face, bro. I'm hit by that, they're gonna
leave me
alone. Try to capitalize.
200.
I see flower pot. I'm going to Drew, I'm going to Drew. I know one's invis. I'm going back to sides. Dude, you won that on your own. How much health?
Shit.
On my orb. I'll pull.
Another one pushing you now, Jim. Pushing you now on your right.
Sure, you should launch.
That was you.
Okay.
All of you. This round is yours.
I honestly didn't know they double backed on me.
Fuck off.
I didn't know they double backed on me. I didn't hear any footsteps or anything.
You're in the lead.
They were invis for the record, that's why.
Show all they want.
Definitely on the right. One broken? Far right.
Okay.
I hit that nigga, but okay, whatever.
I'm gonna go trigger that smoke.
I radar baited.
Oh, the third person in.
Let's try to push us. Maybe not. Not worth it.
Sure.
I got one shot.
Okay, what's
turn
he?
around.
Is he far back? I see the guy on the right back. The far pot. He's down. Shit on. Last guy. I'm looking at the wall.
I'm flying in. Good. I wish there was still public chat that we could message them. They were third person by the way as well. I know, that's what I was saying. Just, can we not? Yeah, that'd be really great, honestly. But
Fucking Warcliffe.
Really quickly.
100.
I made it in the crows.
They're gonna be on Drew though.
Yep, got it. Got the pick.
One more on me. I LBR'd him.
He's gonna die if he goes too far in it.
Defeat. This should be our supers. Enemy super minions now spawning.
Oh yeah, I definitely have a super. Let's blade barrage him.
Lol. You're really trying to piss people off, huh?
I'm gonna go for it on the left.
Let's push this. Let me be first in. We have
Oh yeah, sure.
Two.
Didn't want to fucking shoot.
Any damage off?
No damage.
No. I wish that call was made earlier so I knew not to fly out like that.
Two right, Easton, one shot. Good win.
I got him. Wait. On the right, Drew, on the right. At tanks. One, two.
Coming back. You have
Hold on a
supers.
second. Yeah.
I love.
Oh, I thought there was more than one up. I thought there was two up.
Okay, so the blade barrage looked like it was gonna be a good one. It was not. I guess the wall tanked too much of it.
Oh. We denied them.
That was a swift.
Come on, where the fucking team was at?
Yourself yet you can.
Alright, there we go. Over time, shotguns went through a series of nerfs, starting with the Forsaken expansion when they moved from the power slot in early Destiny 2 to the special slot, meaning you always have access to a shotgun. But the problem was they weren't exactly balanced for you to have them all the time, and as a result, by using a randomly rolled shotgun with very high range,
Come on, no fucking way.
a barrel that tightened the spread, Also combined with the map design of most of the maps, you didn't actually need a primary weapon to complement a shotgun because the shotgun killed so far, a primary was not necessary. Obviously, this was a problem because Bungie reeled back shotguns quite a bit. They're still very consistent, but the meters that they used to be able to kill from is at least reduced by 2. These changes is what made players shift from a desire for range to a desire for handling. But as it turns out, there's a perk that actually gives you handling without sacrificing range. I'm sure by now most of us are familiar with a perk called Quick Draw, but if for some reason you don't know the benefits of Quick Draw to handling, I made a video on that which you can find in the description below. A quick refresher on the video is that the handling stat affects the speed at which you pull a weapon out and which you put a weapon away. Effectively, the higher the handling stat, the faster the cleanup would be from one weapon to the other. So, for example, let's say I slide at somebody and shoot them with a shotgun, but it doesn't quite kill them. Now, I have some choices here. Of course, I could shoot them again with a shotgun and waste bullets. It's also pretty slow. The better option would be to just quickly swap to my primary weapon and finish up the kill. Or you could even do that in the opposite fashion, where you use a primary weapon to soften a target up and then quickly swap to the shotgun for the finishing blow. Either way, you conserve ammo, it's faster, and you afford yourself a mistake fixer where if you're caught with your pants down, you can still make it back to your shotgun in time to save you from otherwise losing the battle. So with this long-winded explanation to why having handling on shotguns is good, this will make you understand why the Astral Horizon is one of the best shotguns in the game. Previously, that title went to the Mindbender's Ambition, which was an energy shotgun. This is an aggressive frame shotgun that can get very high range stats and have quick draw. So as a result, it pretty much had the best of everything and was universally agreed on by most of the top players as being the best shotgun in the game. In fact, if you wanted a Mindbender's Ambition right now, you can farm for it. It is available. The Nightfall name is called the Hollowed Layer. What makes the Mindbender's Ambition so strong is it's an aggressive frame shotgun, which is high impact, with the quick draw perk and other perks that also benefit the range and kill distance. So it's very clearly one of the best shotguns. If you wanted a shotgun with quick draw in the kinetic slot, well, previously the best one you could do is a rapid fire frame, which has an abysmal one-hit kill distance. So pretty much, if you wanted to use any energy primary weapon, you had to handicap yourself in the shotgun department, unless you wanted to run the exotic Chaperone, but that's a slug shotgun, and the playstyle is very different from a pellet shotgun like the Mindbender's Ambition. If you wanted to be the most effective shotgunner you could possibly be, you would use a Mindbender's Ambition and a kinetic weapon pairing like the Thorn, Spare Rations, Ace of Spades, etc. It had to be a kinetic weapon because if you wanted to use an energy, not having quick draw and an aggressive frame left you at a big disadvantage. That was until Trials of Osiris released, and in the loot pool exists a shotgun that is aggressive frame with quick draw, and it gets even better. This shotgun can have a perk called Opening Shot, which improves the consistency of the shotgun even further. To me, the existence of a kinetic shotgun on par with the Mindbender's Ambition has legitimately opened up half the game to me. There are so many energy weapons that I love to use, but just can't at a competitive level because it just does not compare to Mindbender's Ambition. So, to me, getting this shotgun has improved my day-to-day play experience by so much because a lot of the time I'm forced to be in skill-based matchmaking brackets, and you can't just play around with whatever weapon you want because everybody's using the most effective loadout possible. And this kinetic shotgun has made so many more loadouts the most effective possible. For instance, if you've been paying attention to a lot of this background gameplay, you'd see energy weapon favorites such as the Kindled Orchid. This is a hand cannon that's 140 RPM, available from the Black Armory Forges, and mine has a roll that features quick draw. Yes, again, so I can get from my hand cannon to shotgun or shotgun to hand cannon a little bit faster, but it also has explosive rounds on top of a wonderful stat package. It's one of the best hand cannons in the game, and I can't believe it doesn't get more attention. Well, I know the reason that it didn't get a lot of attention. You couldn't use it with Mindbender's Ambition. Until now. You also see weapons, like Hard Light, I'm sure you're familiar with it. I prefer the Tommy's Matchbook. The reason for that, Drewski just mentioned in his video, so go check that one out. There's also the Fighting Lion. There's also the Polaris Lance. This is an exotic scout rifle. I consider it one of the best in the game, but it is currently bugged right now, so maybe use a different scout like the No Feelings, which features box breathing on a 180 to give you a very fast time to kill. There's so many good energy weapons in this game. I feel like I'm just scratching the surface with the combinations featured in this video. You also saw the Gnawing Hunger, the Horus Lease, which is the inverse Redrix's broadsword. This one's a rapid-fire frame pulse rifle that has rangefinder and kill clip, so once you activate kill clip, you can two-burst people. Oh yeah, and there's also a Sunshot. Switching gears, let's talk about how to obtain the Astral Horizon. Now, it has to be a certain week. Last week, you were able to get the shotgun at 3 wins, but in a future week, it might be at 5 wins, it might be at 7 wins, it might even be flawless. If you already obtained the Astral Horizon last week, but maybe want a better roll, you can still go for it by farming tokens and turning those into Saint 14, because any weapon you unlocked is added to the loot pool. So if you still don't have a bare minimum good roll of the Astral Horizon, then I highly advise that you continue to farm for it before your loot pool gets too big. Because I ran the numbers. Getting the bare minimum roll of Rifle Barrel or Full Choke, Assault Mag or Accurized rounds, and just Quick Draw, not even considering the other perks of the Masterwork, this could take you, if you're efficiently farming, like 600 games. Now for the same roll comparatively on a Mindbender's Ambition, you should expect to do around 24 to 30 strikes. As a Destiny enthusiast, I don't really vibe with these odds considering that in other MMOs, the S tier loot, so in this case, I consider the Astral Horizon and the Mindbender's Ambition to both be the best of the best. Usually, you can obtain these one of two ways. It's either through a very long and chill grind, or a short, skill-based grind. And Trials of Osiris breaks that rule. Not only is it skill-based, but it also is over 10 times as unlikely to get the same roll. So when I put it in those terms, it would make sense that even for the teams that hit 3 wins and farm the shotgun, a lot of them still don't have a good variant of this shotgun. So the fact that I see some people with perfect rolls, count your blessings. Let me know in the comment section if you did get the God roll and how it's performing, because I want to live vicariously through you, because I may never see, no, I'm probably never going to get this shotgun. I got the bare minimum, and I'm happy with that. Moving forward, just logically speaking here, Bungie has to change the loot system. If they don't, we're going to be in a situation where this Astral Horizon bare minimum roll is harder to get than things in the past like Redrix's broadsword or even Not Forgotten. But if somehow the system doesn't change or it's very slow to change, there is going to be a necessity for players to get good. And I'm going to do my best to make guides. I'm going to do my best to help people out. I'm not going to necessarily carry you to the shotgun, but I'm going to try to help out lesser players to show them the ropes, show them the skill set, teach a man to fish, and not only that, but teach a person how to like playing Destiny, even if you're winning, even if you're losing. I think all this combined, if you set your sights on improvement, this shotgun is doable. It doesn't matter if it's at 3 wins, 5 wins, 7 wins, or flawless. This is doable. And if you're the self-defeatist type and think, oh, this isn't doable, I only match sweats, well, you only think they're sweats because you're not as good as them. Yet. If you were as good as them, you would just call them another player, an enthusiast, right? So, if you don't like PvP to begin with, why are you farming a PvP shotgun? Why you set your sights on a PvP activity for weapons and things that usually benefit PvP? And even if these weapons did benefit PvE, right? Like these were some of the best in slot for a world's first raid attempt or something like that. Well, then you just gotta accept that you might not have the best in slot, and you might be forced to use the second best in slot, because this is a gross double standard. where PvE players and PvP players are constantly butting heads, telling each other that their side deserves to have the good loot, and that if the other side wants it, well then they have to step up to the challenge. The challenge being either a raid or a competitive playlist. Me personally, I think as a community we really need to cut this shit out. We don't need to have this hard divide between a PvE player and a PvP player. Let's just all be Destiny players. What a concept. And being a Destiny player means accepting that a best in slot might come from an activity that you do not prefer. I'm really hoping that in the future Bungie hits a very good compromise here where they say that, yeah, best in slot might come from PvP if you're a PvE player, or vice versa, or maybe they might make some changes to Gambit. Please, take away the armaments. Tangent aside, this compromise will be that the better an item is, there should be a skill-intensive route to curb RNG. Meaning, let's use the shotgun as an example. For me to get the desired roll, there should be some extra tier of difficulty where if I'm hitting that tier, it's much more likely to drop, let's say, quick draw, and that automatically makes my odds so good that there's no reason to token farm. Instead, I maybe go for the 10 wins in a row after flawless, right? And no one's gonna complain because they have a chance to
he get hit twice and it doesn't do shit.
With this side, on the lower end, let's say the lesser skilled players who struggle to even get to 3 wins in the first place under normal circumstances. Well then Bungie should implement a system at which you can pick up a bounty that designates one piece of loot out of the entire loot pool. So in this case, let's say out of all the Trials weapons, you really want the shotgun most of all. Well then what you do is you select the shotgun bounty, and you do that whole thing. And you can get a couple of these a season, maybe one a week. Let's just say the requirement is play 100 games. Now that does sound like a lot, but if you can't win 3 games in the first place, surely playing 100 games will have you have enough experience to at least come close to it. And even if you crash and burn, at least you get a consolation prize. So on the low end, Bungie needs to add more consolation prizes, and on the high end, Bungie needs to give you more opportunities to curb your RNG, so players feel rewarded for going above and beyond, which usually goes hand in hand with liking the game. So now wrapping back around to the start of the video, I got this shotgun called the Astro Horizon, and it is as competitive as the Mindbender's Ambition, which affords me all sorts of new playstyles that can be competitive enough to hang in skill-based matchmaking brackets. So, although I have obtained what is most important to me in the Trials of Osiris loot pool, that does not mean I'm going to now stop playing Trials of Osiris, because at the end of the day, I really like playing PvP, and I don't need a reward dangling in front of me to make me play the game modes. I just like playing the game. I like Destiny. Now by contrast, my favorite raid is the Last Wish, but I've done that hundreds of times, to the point where I'm actually just sick of doing the same activity over and over again with no variation. That's the difference between PvP and PvE.
Sure.
Since I spent a lot of this video talking about how to fix the Trials loot system, let's talk about PvE just a little bit. I've done hundreds of Last Wishes, but I don't necessarily have all the loot I want, the best in slots for PvP that come from this raid. And I'm no closer now than when I started. It's just straight randomness. So I'm hoping that in the future, Bungie makes a addition, a revitalization of old raids with intense difficulties, mythic difficulty, grandmaster, whatever you want to call it.
Sure. I fucking died from.
Lets you curb RNG, so that at long last, no matter how unlucky you are, you can get good enough to finally have that best in slot, which will, for me as a Destiny player, someone who prefers PvP, to have an additional tool to use that is competitive within the realm of skill-based matchmaking. Now, there are individuals that really enjoy PvE. They will do raids just for fun, and they'll take self-imposed challenges and do all the triumphs and that sort of thing. And that's great. I think for them, an additional title, a additional cosmetic for, let's say, timed raids, like a time attack raid or a score attack raid, that would be such a cool system, the cherry on top of a Grandmaster rework to raids, to revitalize people doing them and make that content relevant again. I have to put this disclaimer here because while I think it's assumed, a couple people don't think it is. I'm playing armchair developer right now. That does not mean I think game development is easy. The people at Bungie are very passionate developers, and they make some good stuff. So please, keep that in mind whenever you comment, and you should comment. Let me know what you think of these ideas and how they can be more realistically implemented, and maybe what some additional things you think would improve the game are. Thanks everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully I'm still wide awake for trials when it launches. I should be there. Twitch.tv/CammyCakes.
Two tethers. Yeah. Shit.
Hey, what's up guys, Pattycakes here. I've been wanting to make a video about this subject for over a year now, but I wasn't sure exactly how to explain the concepts that were in my head. I've sat with it now for quite a while, and I think I'm finally ready to tackle this subject. What I'm about to explain to you is what I believe to be the #1 thing that separates average players from those at the top of the skill ladder. And the level at which you can do this thing dictates exactly how far you can make it as a player. So what is that thing? Playing with intention. Stay with me here, because I know that sounds a little bit nebulous. What I mean is that top players have an algorithm in their brain that is far more specific and detail-oriented compared to an average player. What this looks like in-game is extreme attention to detail when it comes to the fundamental mechanics of movement skill, aiming, and general game awareness. When watching top players, the main thing that always sticks out to me is just how many details they take into account. And you can see it in-game with how they move around the map and which decisions that they make.
Sure.
They're constantly keeping tally of where enemy players could or couldn't be, and paying attention to details that could give them a slight advantage. Things like listening for sound cues and reacting to them, keeping tabs on what grenades or abilities they have available, how much time is left on the clock, paying attention to the radar at all times, and keeping a keen eye on the kill feed to know which teammates or opponents are taken out of the fight. There's two main components of this subject that I want to cover for this video, and while they certainly work in tandem, I think it's best to break them down individually before we combine them together. And those two components are crosshair placement and movement. Let's tackle crosshair placement first. In case you haven't seen them yet, I've already created a few videos that discuss aiming mechanics in depth, and I'll link them on screen here as well as in the description. For this video, I want to dive deeper into one specific component of aiming, which is maybe the most important part, and that is being incredibly precise with how you hold your crosshair before you get into a fight. See, most inexperienced players exhibit the cardinal sin of FPS gaming, which is having a lazy crosshair. That means they have their crosshair on the ground, way up in the air, or just generally somewhere that's not helpful. When you watch top players in any FPS game, they do the complete opposite. Their crosshair is always placed exactly where an opponent's head would be located if one was to come onto the screen. This is a concept known as pre-aiming, where instead of needing to perform some wild flick to correct their aim onto the target, all these top players have to do is click and they get a free kill, because their crosshair is already perfectly placed. This habit is what makes the game look so easy when you watch the best of the best. It's not just that the game is inherently easier for them, it's that they make it easier by being so intentional with their crosshair placement, and aiming becomes simpler for them because they need to make fewer corrections. Let's go deeper on this topic with a couple of examples. I think the best way to explain this concept is to quickly examine a game that moves at a slightly slower pace, so that we can dig into the details a bit more. I promise these concepts will 100% guaranteed make you a far better Destiny player, or better at any FPS game that you choose to play for that matter. So here's Nico, one of the absolute best pre-aiming CSGO professionals in the world. In this clip, he retakes a defensive position on the B-bomb site, and I want you to pay special attention to how he holds his crosshair exactly at head level for when enemies enter the room. With his exceptional aim and crosshair placement, he's able to take out the entire enemy team with just a deagle, and keep in mind, these are fellow professional players that he's challenging. Nico's aim in this clip demonstrates incredible crosshair placement while playing defensively. That is, while waiting for a player to walk onto your screen. This skill is equally as important in Destiny or any other FPS game. I was actually having a conversation with a friend about shutting down supers in Destiny with a sniper rifle just a few days ago, and he was remarking about how rarely he seems to be able to snipe an enemy super in an average game. I believe the #1 reason I'm able to do this pretty consistently isn't that I'm a better aimer, but rather my pre-aim is much more intentional than the average aimer. It really does make a world of a difference. In Destiny, we have a few more intricacies to deal with, because the opponents have a lot of advanced movement options. When you're holding an angle, you need to not only worry about watching for someone to strafe into a lane, but they could also slide into that lane, so you need to be ready to adjust your aim down for that type of movement. Or, alternatively, they can also jump high into a lane, so you need to be ready to look up. This is actually something that you'll see top teams coordinate on purpose sometimes. They'll count down 3, 2, 1, peek, and have one player slide across the lane while another jumps into the lane in the air. Double peeking a lane like this gives you a temporary 2-on-1 situation and can often result in your team winning the gunfight. One other tip here to give you a leg up. When you see an enemy on the radar coming your way, you can often listen for the double jump sound cue, and you can know to look up in the air and anticipate where they might be. Okay, so let's look at another clip now, but this time we're looking at the offensive side of the coin. What I mean by that is that we're now talking about advancing our position on the map and needing to clear each angle where an opponent is likely to be. Here's fan favorite streamer and FPS legend Shroud playing some CSGO. In this clip, his team is attempting to take the A bomb site on Mirage. Watch as he meticulously uses his knowledge of where enemies could or couldn't be, and flicks his crosshair around from spot to spot, scanning for enemies to appear in the various likely positions. As he clears these angles, he's ready to pull the trigger as soon as the enemy is detected in any of those positions where he's aiming. Shroud is able to perform this at an exceptionally high level, and you can see that he wins the round for his team. Pre-aiming while clearing angles offensively is just as important as when playing defensively. You may have already heard of the term peeker's advantage. That's where someone who peeks into a lane that you're holding has a slight advantage due to the way the netcode works, and they'll often land the kill on you before you even realize that they're on your screen. However, peeker's advantage only presents a benefit if you have exceptional pre-aiming skill, so that you can predict exactly where your opponent is likely to be located, and you're already pre-aimed ready to take them out. In fact, to combat the pre-aim ability that some players have developed, you can often hold what's known as an off angle, so that you're located in a spot that's slightly less conventional, and you can throw off your opponent a bit while they go for that pre-aim shot. At the highest level of play, especially in games with a developed pro scene like Counter-Strike, much of the gameplay actually becomes a battle of mental chess. When you watch Destiny tournaments with the best players in the world, the exact same elements tend to play out. So now that we've talked about being intentional with your aiming, let's dig into the second core component of playing at a high level, being intentional with your movement. I see it all the time when I watch less experienced players pick up a game like Destiny. They move around the map with very little regard to where an enemy could be located, and they accidentally expose themselves to many possible lanes, resulting in them getting killed. You may get away with this lackadaisical movement at a lower level, but as you climb the skill ladder, you'll start getting punished hard. When you're moving around the map, strafing into lanes and jumping onto surfaces, you need to always be considering what lanes of fire you're exposing yourself to. This is where map knowledge really comes into play. The better you're able to study and know every single common shooting lane on a map, the more aware you'll become. As another part of this map knowledge toolkit, you also need to have a plan of retreat in case you do start losing the fight. One of the concepts you'll hear good players talking about is being one shot away from cover. That means that if you take a big hit from, let's say, a hand cannon headshot or a sniper body shot, you're close enough to cover that you can easily dip out of the fight and regen your health, and then either escape or take the fight again with full health. As the time to kill creeps faster and faster in Destiny 2, this concept is getting more important than ever. In addition to knowing the physical layout of the map, it's also important to start learning timings for various events on the map. For example, knowing how fast an enemy player is likely to get to a certain spot can mean the difference between you getting a pick or getting taken out. This gets a bit complicated because there's so many different movement abilities in the game, and good players can utilize these to get a big edge. These days you have top tree Dawnblade players blazing around the map with their Icarus stash, getting to some spots way more than you would normally expect. Especially in scenarios like Elimination with Trials of Osiris, knowing these timings can make or break the entire match. And in respawn modes like Survival, knowing the timings and locations of respawn areas can earn you some easy kills and give your team a big advantage. I think the best way to improve in both of these areas of crosshair placement and movement is to record your own gameplay and watch it back later in slow motion. Keep an eye on your crosshair. Are you pre-aiming at head level where an opponent is likely to pop out on your screen? Or is your crosshair lazily placed on the ground? When you're moving around the map, are you unnecessarily exposing yourself to danger? Or are you doing a good job of having a lane of retreat? And when you die, pay special attention to the lane of fire that killed you. Was this avoidable with some better positioning? These are the habits that will make you a great player, but it does take some time to develop these instincts. I hope you found this video helpful. I know it's a bit more conceptual than many of my other videos, but I truly believe these are the topics that will greatly improve your abilities as a player, and I hope that you find them valuable. If you did enjoy watching, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss my next one. Also, let me know in the comments if you'd like me to make a part 2 or part 3 on this topic, because I think I might be able to turn this into a series and talk quite a bit more about these different subjects. I'm planning to do a lot of help for Trials of Osiris this season, So if you're a PC player, make sure to stop by when I'm streaming, and I'd love to help you out. You can catch me over at twitch.tv/pattycakespc. We also have a great community Discord, and it may be a great way for you to find
Might have to start playing like I used to play, not use auto rifle.
So feel free to join up. There's a link in the description to check it out. And finally, I've been getting much more active on Twitter lately, and I'd love to chat with you over there about Destiny or any other questions you might have for me. My Twitter handle is PattyCakesGG, and I'd love to chat with you on that platform, so make sure to give me a follow if you have an account. That's all for now. Catch you guys next time.
Hey everyone, MTash here, and with the help of my amazing sponsor Astro Gaming, I am thrilled to announce the return of Crucible School. This series in Destiny 1 had almost 60 episodes of tips and tricks to help you improve at PvP. With the return of Trials of Osiris, I know that a lot of players are looking to get better, and so I think it's a great time to bring this back and help you improve in the Crucible. In today's video, we're going to be looking at some of my biggest tips if you want to improve at PvP. Future episodes will typically be a deep dive into specific topics, but I wanted to talk about a few in this one to get you on your way at improving your game in PvP. So let's get started with tip number 1. So the first tip I want to talk about is pre-aiming. When watching gameplay of weaker players, I see a lot of lazy aiming. Someone could be coming around that corner and they're aimed at their shin. Someone could be around that box and they're just aimed maybe at chest height. But with proper pre-aiming, you can go for those easy headshots and you don't need to correct as much. Now, on mouse and keyboard, where you can flick your mouse and really track players, it's not quite as imperative. You might be able to get away with some flicky shots, but on console, where aim assist and, unfortunately, less control happens, you might have trouble tracking a player. And that's why I recommend aiming at head height. If someone is coming around cover, I want to make sure that the second they appear on my screen, I can maybe do a small correction down or small correction up and hit them directly in the face. And you need to get used to doing this everywhere on the map. If there's someone close range here, you need to be ready to shoot them in the face. If they're going to be coming up those stairs, you need to be ready. Over here, down there, you need to always have an idea of where their head is going to be. That way, when they do pop out of cover, you are already aimed at it, and you can hopefully get that first shot before they can react to you. Because you have to remember, let's say there was someone down in that corridor. If you pop out, you need to adjust and fix your aim. If you're aimed down here, you need to come all the way up. If you're aimed up here, you need to come all the way down. But if you know approximately that head height, the second you pop out of cover, you can also hit them as well. In many cases, against good players, there will be strafing in and out of cover, and you need to be able to react to them the moment that they appear. If you're not pre-aiming, you're going to be at a major disadvantage against other players. Now, another thing to remember with pre-aiming is Destiny 2 is a little bit different than Destiny 1. Players have gotten better over the years, and a lot of people slide. Tons of people slide. If they're going to engage around cover, there's a very good chance that they are sliding out from behind it. That means that for the first part of the gunfight, they're actually going to be lower down, and you're going to have to adjust up. If you know that you're playing a Rumble game against some extremely good players, if they're sliding around a lot, you might want to consider aiming somewhat in the middle. That way, if they pop out, you can adjust up, and if they slide out, you can adjust down.
Fucking serious.
Make sure that you're at least at chest height. Neck height would honestly be probably best, because then you are at least tagging them somewhat, no matter what way they're moving out of cover. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is movement. I think everyone can most likely strafe and shoot at the same time. If not, you'd better start practicing that. But a big one that people don't do as often as they should is sliding. Now, really good players typically are sliding all the time. It takes away the hitbox,
seriously,
faster, get behind cover, and catch people off guard. And if you're able able to chain the movement of sliding as well as aiming at head height. Pre-aiming we discussed about earlier, you're going to be a lethal target. Let's say someone's around there, you slide out from cover, boom, ready to shoot them. Is there someone over here? Boom, you're ready to shoot them. And so comboing the sliding and the aiming makes you deadly. But there's other movement you need to take advantage of. Now, let's say I want to get behind that box. I could float in the air like this and most likely get shot on by 300 different people. If you expose yourself too much with movement, you become a target. Now, maybe they won't expect you way up in the air, but it is probably a lot safer to slide under here, taking away this angle, and doing maybe a small little jump or slide to get behind this. This is going to matter a lot if someone is chasing you.
I got
if someone
you.
is coming up these
Teammate,
stairs here
where the fuck
and
is
I'm
you
trying
at?
to get away, I want to take away the angles from them as much as possible. I might slide behind this little angle here so he can't shoot me. Do a quick little hop, taking away the angle further, and then get behind cover so maybe I can pop out and re-engage on the player. Or if you wanted to be really fancy, knowing that I'm a Dawnblade, I have access to the Icarus Dash. I could double boost forward and maybe slide behind here and get some action in with my hand cannon. Mastery of this movement gives me options, and I recommend that any player that is playing Destiny take some time to just move around the map. Slide behind cover, jump up on that box, and get used to your class's movement. Now, when you're aiming and sliding and jumping and dashing and doing all these things, you're on a controller than on mouse and keyboard like I am. The C40 controller from Astro is the perfect fix for this.
No lives left for anyone. Rest when you're dead. Tiebreaker active. This is not the end. This match is yours. Your team captured the tiebreaker. You're knocked out. You look death in his beady eyes and you spat in them. You fiend. to line up faster. 1 minute left. The enemy is out of second chances. You obliterated the enemy. You have a lead. Keep it. No lives left for your enemy. Destroy. 3 lives left. 1 minute left. The enemy is out of second chances. You annihilated them. You have a lead.